Welcome, everybody, to a new episode of Popcorn and Palava. This is the one that everybody has been waiting for, the discussion where we finally address the Marvel versus DC debate. I think we've alluded to this particular topic several times, and it's a point of constant debate in our group. And I'm gonna step up and say I'm a DC fan who is not the biggest fan of Marvel, but have come to appreciate Marvel in the last few years. And this has been a bit of a contentious period for folks like Maiwa, who are Marvel fans. And I'll let him
You
speak for
pass.
himself.
You let me. Thank you. I appreciate
So
that. I'm speaking.
go on, go on.
What's wrong with you? For the record, I started off as a DC fan, a Superman fanboy. Then it just seemed like DC didn't know what they were doing. There was no there was no real vision, if I'm being honest. So I switched to Marvel. And I have to admit that DC have an opportunity, to kind of reclaim their superiority. But again, we'll just see how it goes. But yeah, no, very, very contentious topic here. Fawaz, any thoughts?
Thoughts? Yes, definitely. Many thoughts. I am
Side.
not neither DC nor Marvel. Even though, actually, I'm gonna say I'm more of a fan of DC. Let me be honest. I'm more of a fan of
Interesting.
DC than Marvel. Even though I like both. I watched both growing up. I consume both TV shows, movies, a ton. But I do prefer the DC world to Marvel at the moment. I think, and I will get more into it later. But yeah, I think you're right in the sense where DC now have a chance to
Did you?
reclaim where they're at, because Marvel's kind of floundering right now. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
So you know what? I'm gonna start the conversation. As the Penguin movie, I said Penguin movie, the Penguin
sure.
TV show just ended on HBO Max. I think it kind of addressed one of the signature strengths that DC has that Marvel doesn't have, which is the fact that DC characters, the villains, are a lot more interesting than the Marvel characters. Um, and one of the biggest strengths, and I think it always affects how DC movies play, is that in general, what you see is that the bad guys are more interesting than the superheroes. So when we actually start to see the superheroes face the bad guys, the fights are a little bit more dynamic. This goes all the way back to Batman 1985. Joker in that movie was very interesting. Batman Returns 1987, Penguin was very interesting. And all of these movies are part of the DCU because of the last Flash movie that came out. So all of these movies
Yeah,
are in the
canon.
DCEU. So
Yeah,
um and even when we talk about the show that just finished, one of the best, most dynamic bad guys. The problem with Marvel is that the Marvel focuses on the heroes, and the heroes are a lot less interesting. And because they never have any adequate bad guys, like we've had more than 30 films. Can you name more than Thanos? Who are the bad guys in Marvel that stand out for you?
I mean, and maybe that's on purpose, right? I mean, think about DC. DC is always going for dark and gritty. I mean, does that make? I mean, would it be shocking for their bad guys to actually be interesting if that's your theme going in, right?
Mhm.
Marvel has always aired on the sort of entertainment. Let's make you laugh. Thor is funny. Iron Man is kind of funny. That's selling point, right?
I,
You
I
have
I
to
do.
emphasize your script. I mean, I you might have a different view, But I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong in your heroes. I mean, I think that's the whole point, honestly. Like, but to have villains that are interesting is cool. Yes, we have the Joker, we have Penguin now. But at the end of the day, it's like, I mean, can you not just cater to your strengths without being better than the other person?
Mm. I do want to kind of separate Marvel from MCU, pre MCU and post MCU. I feel like those two Marvels are a little different. I don't think Marvel, the very like, except from Spider-Man, I don't think there was any other like funny guy that existed in the Marvel universe that I can think of off the top of my
Deadpool.
head. And
Deadpool.
Deadpool, yes, Deadpool, yes. Deadpool and Spider-Man. Um, Outside of those
They've
two,
always been
everything,
funny. Yeah,
yeah, they've always
you're
been
right.
funny. Outside of those two, everybody else that I remember was like a pretty serious. Even Thor only now just became the funny god, right? Before he was a serious Thor. He was I'm son of Odin, Thor, Lord
Yeah,
of Thunder,
yeah, yeah,
Thor. So
yeah. You're
this
right.
reimagining of the
You're right.
Marvel being like a funny humorous thing is a more of like a Disney's angle take on the Marvel world. I want to say that.
And what's wrong? What's wrong with that,
There's
right?
nothing wrong with it. I think
What's wrong?
there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. I think they did it a little too much. They went a little too deep into the funny stuff,
Absolutely,
but
you're right.
I don't think there's
Right
anything
on
wrong
that.
with that. But
Yeah,
also on the other side of the DC, on the DC side, Penguin really was not interesting as a character in old DC. This new imagination
no,
of Penguin is
yeah.
a 10 out of 10. But that didn't exist before. He was pretty shallow as a character,
Nah,
right?
Danny DeVito was not shallow.
I thought he was like I don't think Danny DeVito's his character was shallow. I'm saying there was not much to him to me outside of
No,
him being like a caricature, him being just like a fat stubby guy that looks weird and everybody calls him
nope.
Penguin and
I
he
I
wants to be a
totally
kingpin.
disagree. I
Okay,
disagree. So
shoot.
let me tell you why it works for Danny DeVito's Penguin. The goal of Penguin was to be loved. This new Penguin and the old Penguin, the goal of Penguin is to be loved, right?
Mm,
The idea of the old Danny DeVito was that he lived under the water, and the only way he could get connection with the people was to save the governor's daughter.
mm,
So he staged a what do you call it a crime scene where they kidnapped the
yeah,
daughter, and then
and
he
he
comes out and
saves
saves the
him.
daughter, comes from the ground, and basically he uses that popularity to try to gain the idea of being the mayor of the
Mm,
town, and he's running, and the only reason why it doesn't work is because he gets exposed when they have a recording of him saying what he was saying.
mm,
Everybody in the town loved Penguin. When he talks, people fell in love with him. The only reason why he got away with it was because Batman recorded him while he hacked into his car. So
mm.
it's like the whole skeleton of Penguin is consistent between um, Danny DeVito and
And
the
but
new
but
one.
but Fawaz's, I think Mortis Fawaz. Please tell me if I'm being. Can that version of Penguin hold its own series? Can it? I don't think so. I don't think that character
Yeah,
is cool enough to do what Colin Farrell is doing with.
I think
I don't
I
see it.
agree. I agree with you. And I don't think you're wrong, Demadi. Those points are true,
Valid,
but I think
yes.
they're valid points and
Yes.
accurate. But the truth is, even with that, there wasn't much like it didn't feel like there was
Depth.
a lot of depth to the guy outside of
Yes.
his need for
Even that,
validation and power. And
absolutely.
the new
You
one,
know,
even though it's the same thing they wanted, it just, I mean,
there's
granted, it's
more
a TV
depth.
show,
More depth.
more time to build up that stuff,
Uh-huh.
but this one, it felt more depth. It had more depth. It had more going on with the Penguin. Up
Yeah.
until now, I never rated the Penguin even as a Batman villain. And Batman's my
Nope.
favorite superhero. Penguin is just like somebody that just shows up on the side to be a nuisance to Batman. In my
Yeah,
mind,
he's exactly
he's just
like
like a
Boomerang
nuisance to
Man.
Batman.
Like
Yeah,
Boomerang Man. Yeah.
like there's like poison ivy's putting plants all over the city. Then Penguin just like with my my umbrella gun and try to shoot Batman, and he's just kind of annoying, right? And Batman
you
just whoops
have
his ass and moves on, right? It
my
just never
point.
felt.
My
It never
point
felt.
exactly.
But I do agree. DC has better villains. I think they have better stories, and I think because the villains are so good, you're able to see the heroes in a different light. And this is another thing, another beef I have whenever they do Superman. They just mess it up because the villains are always trash. The villains are always very cookie cutter. I don't think they pick the right villains to show Superman be challenged and be humanized in a way. Because we all know he's gonna win in the end because it's Superman. That's the whole
Yeah.
point. But you have to show why he is the Superman. Like he's choosing to be good. He's deciding he can take over the world, but he's making choices to save people. They've never done that. It's always been, he can't be hurt. Shoot him in the chest, the bullet bounce off. But that's not why people really like Superman. It's not because of all that. So I think a lot of times they just get lost in that sauce.
I mean, and you're absolutely right, Faraz. Who are they looking for?
I don't know, man. This guy going crazy out here. Hold on.
Me.
Hold on. No, that's me. I'm right next to the outside window.
You're fine. I just wanted to address the
one second.
elephant in the room. But anyways, I mean, you guys are making valid points. You've talked about the characters. Oh, okay, they do better villains. Okay, points for DC. Yeah. But here's my point from a Marvel standpoint. A point that you guys cannot even, I mean, you can't deny. Marvel builds out its characters, man. Whether you like them or not, there was the vision, the flop. When they came out with MCU, they came out with an exact plan, for like almost 5-6 year plan of what they were going to do. You know what I mean? And you have to respect that. Because everything that they planned on doing, they did. They set up a plan that actually, helped them build their characters. Started with Captain America, went through Thor. Everyone had their individual movies, maybe even 2 or 3 of them. Yeah. And then you now brought everybody together.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta respect that.
I have to say, yeah, what Marvel did with the Infinity War series, that 10 years, I don't think there's anything. Yeah, they should have. But I don't think there's been anything that has been done in the history of movies like that that I can think of. And it was executed 10 out of 10. Like, all the movies were good, leading to Thanos. Then the Avengers. I remember seeing Avengers Infinity War the first time. I was like, yo. The only thing I'll say is like they messed up. They messed up Hulk. But
otherwise,
but that's a different argument.
Conversation.
Yeah, it's a different conversation. But yeah, the execution for that first Infinity War phase was immaculate. It was like the best 10 years in comic book movies ever existed.
History ever.
Franchising. I mean, now companies are trying to franchise everything now to do like Marvel, but it's not so easy to do. I mean, they're finding how difficult it is to kind of pull that off. But yeah, I agree. I mean, even like Captain America Civil War, where they introduced Black Panther, and like just his introduction into the screen, into the Marvel world was so amazing that when this movie came out, people already loved him. Like and Black Panther is not even really a Marvel character that's even on the top 20. He's like a C list. He's on the side. Yeah. No one cares. But the characters that they made important, because when I was doing a little bit of googling on the topic we're going to discuss today, and I was looking at the top characters before MCU. What were the popularity of these characters before MCU? A lot of Guardians of the Galaxy is not even on the list. Most of these people are not on the list. But after the MCU. The whole thing changes. Now Thanos is probably number 3 or number 2, maybe not number 1, right? Thanos is super popular. Thor is super popular, even though he was popular then, but he wasn't the most popular. Most of these guys were not
like this.
Not like this popular.
Like this. Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. Yeah. It's crazy, and one of the things that I also have to give Marvel, I mean, the fact that we're even talking about this on this kind of podcast, the kind of representation that they were the first to bring representation.
Yes.
DC kept giving us the same old shit. It's the same old people, the same Caucasian hero, I mean,
Yeah.
your entire justice till today, we don't have a black green lantern. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Again, not to push the diversity, message too greatly, right? But you have to give it up to Marvel.
Yeah. They pushed
Being
the envelope.
comfortable. They did. They had to,
Early.
right? Very early on. Look at the movie that made Marvel, Blade. That's us.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah, that's the first.
they were the first to start coming out and doing, diverse. Because again, if you're trying to sell, you have to sell to everybody. At the end of the day, that the US is becoming more diverse. I was looking at their numbers, right? What was the compared to I'm trying to find but Marvel blows DC out the water when
right
it comes
now,
to
for sure.
Not even close. I think the number is like 44 earning. Marvel earns 44 billion, has earned in their lifespan in the theaters. 44 billion compared to guess how much DC?
Probably
just guess.
1 or 2 bill.
No, 15 bill.
No, come on.
Jesus. Come on. Yeah. Baba came through. Baba came through. Baba really came through. The guy was really insulted by that. You can hear by his voice. He felt it.
I'm going to say this.
How dare you?
I know one of the interesting things you guys have talked about is the fact that Marvel has come out with a lot of movies, 34 movies altogether right now. I think one of the things that you should also point out is that the movies are inconsistent, and you can say the same thing about DC films. But
are you talking now, inconsistent. Or are you talking are you talking now, or are you talking like that?
I'm talking about throughout the whole mentioned? 34 movies that have been released. Even if you look at the older films, like Thor: The Dark World, was that really a good film? Was the original Thor a good film? Compared to the Avengers Infinity War, was the Avengers 2 as good as was Avengers Age of Ultron as good as Avengers Infinity War? How is Ant-Man and the Wasp?
I mean, I question the individual movies. Yes, you are right. I mean, but the sum of the whole together, bro, is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the vision to execute on such a large project that involved multiple films. Obviously, all the films are not going to hit 95 on Rotten Tomatoes, bro. Like that, I mean, it's different directors. You can't control that level of perfection. But I mean, on the whole, if you averaged out their whatever, I mean, dude, man, I think they still knocked it out the park, even with the inconsistency.
I will agree that the movies are inconsistent. There are a few really good in that first Infinity War arc that are really like top tier movies, like Black Panther, Civil War. But of course, there are duds. There are duds.
Of course,
in the list, there are duds. But even then, with the duds and the good mids, like it still made a cohesive. They're able to introduce these characters well enough to when they showed up in the big movie where they all had screen time. It made sense, and I have to give them props for that. For me, when that movie was announced or when it came out, that was like my biggest question was how are they going to balance all these heroes and the time for all these characters on screen and making sure everyone has their moment. And I think they knocked that out of the park. Like, honestly, I think giving everybody their time, giving everybody their moment in the shows. They're all fighting Thanos. Everybody has like a cool little thing they do, even if it's for 1-2 scenes. But I think like doing that is hard. You have to give them like some props for that.
So I'm going to give them props for longevity, and I'm going to give them props for the amount of movies they've done that are successful. I don't think DC can match up with that. But I think there's a reason why all the Marvel films feel formulaic, because they always seem to be the hero's arc. When you look at the list of DC heroes, let's just talk about some of them, because they're always memorable. We have Zord, we have Bane, we have Deathstroke, we have Riddler, Catwoman, Killer Croc, Deadshot, we have Lex Luthor, The
Half of those are
reasons,
from Batman,
you know,
Superman, by
the
the way.
reasons, huh?
I said all those are from Batman, Superman worlds on DC.
I'm
Nothing else. I'm not just saying DC is pretty much carried by those two, if we're being
I
honest.
mean, you're making a good point. He's
Yeah.
saying them in a special way, acting like they are going to
Yeah.
sound more compelling. They are still
No,
just from the same
they're
two.
yeah, it's
Same
from those
two.
two. Those two guys. Those two guys definitely carry DC a lot. They carry DC a
Clayface,
lot.
Hugo
Yeah.
Strange,
Yeah.
Lady
Batman.
Shiva. You know, I
Batman.
mean, you can say the thing about it is the DC universe is intertwined. It's not like
Yeah.
Batman and Superman are living independently in their own world,
Yeah.
and all these villains don't affect other characters. So you know,
Can say that
so
for
it's not like
Marvel too. I
you
mean,
can
what
say
are
that
you
for
talking
Marvel,
about?
but who are like the Marvel villains are, at least for the movies, the only really good one they've had so far that has proven to be extremely strong is Thanos.
Yeah.
That's it. And I think that's the reason why Avengers Infinity War and Avengers the what's the name of the
Ultron.
second one?
Ultron. Age of Ultron.
Ultron.
No, not the
Yes, no.
anyway. Endgame. Infinity War and Endgame. That's the reason why
Okay.
those two movies were very, very good, because the bad guy was very compelling, and
Yeah.
there were consequences to what the bad guy did. You remember how you felt at the end of Infinity War after the
Yeah, that
snap,
was
and
yeah.
then you remember how you felt when what do you call it, Captain what's his name, Black Panther
America.
said, to your right, to your right,
Yeah.
and
When
everybody appeared
Thanos
again.
says, "I am inevitable." I was like,
Yeah,
this
and
is
and, it,
crazy.
and it's crazy because we're talking about Thanos now, and Josh Brolin is literally out there promoting his new autobiography. And I don't know whether it's me, but like Thanos was so compelling. Like I don't even associate him with the guy who played him.
Oh,
It's
with Josh
weird.
Brolin. Yeah.
Can't see two of them. I don't know why
Shouts
that
out,
is.
shouts out to the CG team for
I
Marvel.
mean, shout out to the CG team, absolutely. But like that whole persona
Yeah, nah, for
is
sure.
Josh Brolin.
It's Josh Brolin. It's like Colin Farrell and Penguin. It's like they just disappear into the character, and you don't see the guy anymore.
Sometimes
You see the
I have to remember, like go back, and in my head I'm like, oh wait, that's Josh Brolin this whole time, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I have to give it to, yes, they did a good job with, but like you can say the same thing about DC. Like when someone's making an argument and calling out all the bad things from the one team, you're thinking that on your own side you are killing it. Not really.
No, but the thing about it is, what happens with Marvel is they take their villains and they make them into anti-heroes, which kind of dilutes a lot of the actions. That is something that doesn't happen on on DC side.
DC side, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
dark and
that's true.
greedy. Dark and greedy. That's that move. Let me ask you this. Let me put this question out there, and this one is another very contentious thing. And please, hopefully, it's a safe place. Don't judge me. Snyderverse was trash. The
Snyderverse. Which one was the Snyderverse?
The Snyderverse, the
Justice
remake
League.
of
Trash.
Yeah, it was trash.
Those movies were not good.
Superman was good.
Hold on, no, I disagree vehemently. But
Superman was good.
I will say the Justice League movie, the Snyder cut, I enjoyed more than the theatrical release.
I mean, of course, you enjoyed it more. Did it in any way change the your overall outlook on
no.
That's my point.
Yeah. The
So let's
Snyderverse.
talk about Snyderverse. Man of Steel,
yes,
I think is a good film. Man of Steel is a good film. I think the Suicide Squad that came out in 2021 was a good film. Not
Which
Suicide
one?
Squad. The Suicide Squad. James Gunn.
The second one? James Gunn one? Okay, that was good. That was good. That first one.
Aquaman was good. Wonder Woman, the first one, was good.
Don't say it.
The first
Don't
one was
say
good.
it.
First Wonder
Okay.
Woman
The
was good.
first
First
one
Wonder Woman was
was
good.
good,
Don't say 84.
and the
If
first
you
Shazam
say it,
film was good.
I will slap you from this.
Wonder Woman 1984.
Fawaz.
I
This
know.
guy went to
I
the
know.
movies. I gotta call you out. He went to the movies. You know, our little
Mhm.
group came back and told us that what Wonder Woman 84 was a good movie. This dude, and so I trusted my friend. I took his word. And I went and I watched
don't
that
trust
movie.
my
Shush!
you don't
Shush!
trust
Let me
you
finish.
don't trust
Let
you
me
don't
finish.
trust my
Let
perspective.
me finish.
Let's not
Let me
lie.
finish.
Let's not lie to the viewers, please.
I went
Yeah.
and I watched that movie. And oh my God, I roasted him for like I cooked him. Continuously
who?
for like 3 weeks.
Nah.
I cooked you. Because seriously, for like 3 weeks, this guy could not deny it. He kept on trying, and then he started to slowly, as the reviews started to come out, he started to slowly backpedal, and now what do you say about the movie? Say it again for the viewers.
It
Let
has
everybody hear.
problems.
Wow. Trash.
Nah, I think you should rewatch the
I mean, I thought it was
Man of
okay.
Steel.
I thought it was okay. I thought it was okay. I thought it was okay. It is okay.
Nah, I think it was high
Better.
energy,
I have higher expectations.
high octane action. That's what I felt. And if you
Sure.
rewatch it, you watch all of the action scenes, they're very impactful. The story is very impactful. And I think that even some of the what do you call it?
The story
The
impactful.
effects.
Stretch.
CG was good. Let me pick my points. Let me pick my points about this movie.
Go on.
I do think it's a bad movie because I'm very nitpicky. So I'll separate everything into its little parts, right? I think the CG and the effects were good for Superman. I think the fight scenes were done well. I like when they're fighting and you kind of see the over the shoulder camera of Superman flying and throwing the punches on Zod and like sending him through buildings. They had cool shit. Let me not shit on
That's
the
why I
whole
said
movie.
it was impactful. You
They
felt
had
like
cool
the power.
shit. Yes, I agree. But the story was not good. The
It
story was not
wasn't great.
interesting.
It wasn't
Also,
great.
how can he kill Zod? He's a Kryptonian.
That's the whole point.
No. I mean,
yeah.
aside from the fact that Superman doesn't kill people,
Yeah,
we
exactly.
also know that Superman doesn't die on Earth. He can't die on
So
Earth.
how are you killing Zod?
So how did he kill Zod? Because he's also Kryptonian. So that it just didn't make sense.
Well,
Hold on.
the
Superman,
sun
even if he
aspect
does,
of
even if he
it.
broke his neck, it doesn't. The breaking the neck doesn't mean he's dead. Superman also experienced death in the previous films.
Okay, but he comes back from Power of the Sun. He
Yeah,
just
so
regenerates.
Who says that Zod
Okay,
doesn't come back
so
to
maybe
death?
okay,
Yeah,
so fair,
that could be an
fair,
argument.
fair,
The sun,
fair,
yes,
fair. Maybe
yes.
Zod isn't dead. He's just taking a long nap. Okay.
Well, no, that's not my point. My point was, I mean, Superman probably had more time exposed to like the sun
It was
as
powerful,
opposed
more
to
powerful at the
Yeah.
point.
So
Yeah.
like I can see that.
Okay.
To be fair.
Another one thing, well, this thing sticks in my cross like a thorn in my side in this fucking movie, man. When Zod is about to murder the people in the bank, and he's like, Superman has him in the chokehold like this, and he's doing this, and he's lasering away at the people over here, and Superman holds his head. Just do this. Just look left. Just move your eyes. I'll just move your eyes. Like it didn't make sense to me how he's looking at them, and he can't just look to the left and just laser. But
that's
no, it's nitpicking. Nitpick.
I mean,
full nitpick. I agree. Look, I understand.
The fact that you are condoning murder. Who says that the whole
I'm not condoning.
the whole eyeball is not what comes? You're assuming that
don't condone. Don't say I condone murder, please. I beg.
You're the one that is saying that you want him to look left and kill the people.
No, but I'm saying it doesn't. In my mind, it doesn't make sense if you're looking at them on the side of the thing. And you're looking here, and you can't just look left.
If it's your whole eyeball that is releasing the laser, it doesn't matter whether you look left or right. It's where your head is turning. It's not. They never said it was the pupil. his whole eyes turns red,
Okay, fair.
not just
Okay,
his pupils.
fair. I don't know
Look
this.
at you nitpicking. So these are the things that have been
No, but
bothering you about this film for
listen.
years.
Hold
and
on.
I'm able to
I prefaced it.
destroy them.
I
Okay.
prefaced it with these are nitpicks. Abi, I said these are nitpicks. I understand they are nitpicks.
He
I'm
did.
just
He
telling you.
did say. He
I
did
just
say.
telling you
Mm.
these are nitpicks.
He did
I
say.
know it's a nitpick. I said that from
Yes.
the jump.
Mhm.
I just know. I'm just saying what I feel. But
So okay, on the whole issue, because I want us to, it's like 30 minutes. We spent 30 minutes talking about this. What is your next talking point?
I think we should talk about the TV shows too, because we've talked about
Okay.
the movies, the cultural impact. I think the TV shows is where DC has a little bit more strength over Marvel. I think they've had a significantly stronger TV lineup than Marvel, even so far. So while Marvel has dominated on the movie side 100%, and to be
yeah,
honest with you, I
easily.
think I've enjoyed quite a lot of Marvel films.
What shows are we thinking of? Can we give exact, like, I'm not thinking about a ton other than the Penguin
Like
that
Harley
just came out
Quinn.
and spent my mind. The show, okay.
Yeah, the Harlequin show is fine. It's good.
Okay.
It's good.
It
Very
was
funny.
like,
Yeah.
I mean,
okay, cool.
even
Penguin, yeah.
Peacemaker that came out.
Peacemaker was good.
Eh.
Yeah, was good.
It was
The
like,
new Penguin show. I mean, there's quite a lot of DC
I'm just
shows.
thinking, I'm thinking like there's not a ton of them.
Don't forget the Smallville shows that have existed, the OG shows as well that has
Are we
existed.
Flash,
Superman and
we're
Lois is a
counting,
good show.
we're counting
Green Arrows.
CW, really?
I never count
That's what we're
CW.
doing?
No
Are
shade
we
to
counting-
But
CW.
those are good shows.
counting CW though?
Yeah,
Because if we are, yo, there are a lot of stinkers, man. Let's
they
not even.
were successful. The Flash was really good when it started. It didn't end up good. Green Arrow was
Archer
well received.
Green Arrow, yeah,
Was
I
well
guess.
received as well.
Yeah.
So I'll give you props. Yeah, they did. They were pushing the TV shows.
What about
and they were pretty
Pennyworth?
decent.
Pennyworth was
I never
on
watched
Showtime.
Pennyworth. Yeah, I remember. I didn't watch Pennyworth though, but
Yeah,
Doom
even the
Patrol
Gotham
was good.
show, like
I watched Doom Patrol.
Doom
Patrol.
Doom
Was
Patrol
good.
was good. Titans was
good.
alright. It wasn't great, but it was good.
It
I
wasn't.
mean, but the same. I could say have the same argument to support Marvel, bro. Like
Swamp
you
Thing,
bringing up
Something
shows,
never came out.
they have
Yeah, Something
exactly
never came out.
and the Batgirl or whatever her name is. Like all
Yeah.
these shows, I didn't even watch most of them.
I
if
would
I'm
say
being honest.
in terms of TV shows purely, I think they're kind of equal.
yeah,
Watchmen.
bro.
Watchmen was good. I think now in the recent years, DC is starting to edge out Marvel just on the TV shows. Maybe in the
Preacher?
last 5 years. Maybe in the last 5 years. Is Preacher a DC thing?
Yep.
Preacher is a
Lucifer?
DC thing?
On AMC.
On
All
Netflix.
of those are
are DC.
interesting.
So
I didn't know Preacher was a DC character. Oh, it is a DC character. Huh.
Yeah, I mean,
So it's kind of like in the Constantine universe.
Sandman.
Sandman was good. Yeah, that's
Even
a good
though
point.
they
That's what I'm saying.
removed all the DC characters from there.
In the recent years, as I say, in the recent years, DC has edged out Marvel in terms of TV shows. Overall, though, I think they're pretty equal.
In my opinion.
Overall.
Can you compare that to Miss Marvel?
Bro,
Come on now.
bro.
No. And that's what I say. In recent years, I've only seen a handful of the Marvel ones. Most of them, they were just okay.
They're okay.
Even some of the DC
you
shows
cannot
too.
say that they are close to each other. The only good ones so far are Daredevil.
Daredevil was very good. Yes.
Daredevil, Loki.
Loki was good. Yes, very good.
Loki was good.
I mean, What If?
Yeah.
What If was good.
Very good. Okay,
I mean,
keep
Moon Knight was okay.
Keep going. No, it was
what,
good.
What do you think about
She-Hulk? It was goodish. She-Hulk, pass.
Like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I enjoyed it. But the real big ones that were supposed to be a hit, like Secret Invasion, horrible.
Yeah.
Echo, not great. The Defenders, which was supposed to be like the Avengers.
I think
Iron Fist.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Iron
Iron
Fist.
Fist. The Defenders was bad. Iron Fist was mid. Luke Cage was
Yeah, I didn't even
good
bother.
mid.
I didn't
Miss
even bother.
Marvel. Miss Marvel was all right, but man, the villains were
Mid.
horrible in that.
But
The villains
again,
are always horrible for
but
the Marvel
again,
stuff.
but again, as
The
we've
the
said,
villains are themselves.
you're always gonna get the back and forth though. Yeah, I mean, you're always gonna get the good ones, and I mean, you could say the same for both sides.
Marvel villains
Anyways,
is therapy.
I
Marvel
mean,
villains are therapy. Just get some therapy, nigga. I love it.
so
Hey, your demons.
true.
Oh god.
I
I've even
think
Before
lost
we
you
move
my.
on,
know. Go on.
hold on. I do want to point out that and I feel like I have to. DC's animated lineup
Mm.
blows Marvel's animated
Anime,
lineup
easy,
out of the water. Not even close.
easy. No, I'm not even going to argue
Not
that
even
one
close.
with you. You're right.
And
That's a good point.
DC movies, the animated movies, even though
Mhm.
like niggas, we get into this like animated thing, but DC animated movies are amazing, amazingly good.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
many great stories
I
are
mean,
being
not
told.
lately,
Justice
not
League,
lately, not lately, not
not
lately.
lately.
But
Which one is bad?
whatever that the one where they're doing like different universes all at the same time.
Yeah, where
That's
like Wonder
really
Woman
bad.
goes into a different. Yeah, that one
It's
wasn't good. Yeah,
really
you're right.
bad. And
That
they
one
did
was not
three of
good.
that. It's
Yeah,
bad. It's bad. It was
It
so
wasn't
bad.
good. I watched that. I
I
was just like,
watched
where's this
all
going?
three. I watched
Yeah,
all three, and I was like, nah, man. But I
was not
because
good.
I was like, what's going on? Apparently, the budget was an issue, so they really had like to work with like pennies,
Mm,
so you could see it in. I mean, some people thought it was okay. I just like for DC, that's
yeah,
bad.
for DC quality, that was
Yeah,
not it.
that's bad. Yeah,
So
but
let's talk
otherwise,
Apocalypse,
about the two
War,
let's talk two
yeah,
DC movie TV shows that are currently existing. My Adventures with Superman and Batman Cape Crusaders. Both of them are really good shows that exist right now. So
eh,
I haven't seen Cape
Batman
Crusaders.
Cape
huh?
Crusader is on Amazon, I believe. Amazon Prime.
Batman. Oh
And
yeah, that was good.
Mm,
That was good. That was
I
good.
haven't seen this. No, I haven't seen
Hey,
this
go
yet.
check it out. Go check it out. It's like old school Batman,
Old school
like
Bat.
Kevin Conroy
I
type.
see.
Yeah,
I see.
yeah.
and
Even the setting.
My Adventures with Superman is also on. It's on Adult Swim,
I
I
couldn't
believe.
get into. I couldn't get into that one. It was tough
I
for me.
watched part of that. I didn't finish it. It
Yeah.
looked good, but I was just like, I don't really care that
It
much.
kind of It wasn't compelling for me. I mean, it looked good, like
But
you
I've also
said.
seen a lot of like Superman stories, so like at a certain point, I was just like, yeah, I kind of get what's going
Yeah,
on
I'm
here.
good. Yeah, it's okay.
I don't really care. But that's just me. That's just me, though.
So
DC's let's talk about before we go on, Maiwa.
no. I just had one point. I wanted to address the elephant in the room because like Joker is Joker like Joker too. Like no, we're not talking about
Fully,
that.
I don't count that
I haven't
as
seen it. That's the
DC.
problem.
What do you mean you don't
Oh,
count that?
Joker
How's
two,
that?
Joker two. Okay, I
Yeah,
haven't seen. I haven't
Joker.
seen it either. To be
Well,
fair,
I honestly,
I
to
don't think
be
I want to
fair,
though.
I feel like David Laddie would have brought it up if we didn't see part two. Like, because he's always talking about how all these spin-offs of like
Mm,
DC are doing well. And then all of a
Mm.
sudden, you just don't mention Joker at all. This was like one of the best DC movies at a point with Joaquin
I'll tell you the
Phoenix.
reason. I'll tell you the reason why I didn't bring it up. I think
Okay.
Joker 2 Folie à Deux became an obsession for the director, where the director wanted to tell his story over the character. So they sacrificed the character to tell the story he wanted to tell, and
He was feeling
irrespective of whether
himself.
the character is it benefits the character or not, he's going to tell his story. So that's how
mm,
I feel about even the original Joker. I felt like he did a
yeah,
disservice to the
to the Joker
main
itself.
Joker itself, because
Yeah,
it kind of diminished what the Joker is. Joker is not a sympathetic character who
yeah. It's not supposed to be some.
wants you to feel bad because he
Yeah,
doesn't feel
But
good.
why did
Joker,
it do
I have
so
no
well?
friends.
Why
I have
did
huh?
no
it do
friends.
so why did it do
I
so
think.
well?
I think.
Because when they advertised the movie with the Batman universe involved, and a lot of people went in with the context of going to go and see it.
that can't be the only reason,
No,
bro.
I don't
People
think that's the
kept
only reason.
going back.
No, I don't think that's the
No,
only reason.
no.
But don't forget
I
the
think.
trailer.
Hold on,
The
hold on, hold
trailer
on.
was him doing the
The
lip.
smile thing,
You
yeah.
know, he did all of that stuff.
The Batman world is a backdrop to the movie for sure. Everybody,
Mm.
no one is going to watch the Joker and not think of Batman. That's going to be inherent in the movie, anyways. I think what it is the character, the whole I have no friends, I'm just going through life having a bad time. I think that just level of suffering and his like revenge, it just resonated with people a lot because he felt like, oh, this man is getting shit on by the world and he gets his revenge and he's going to watch the world burn, which is a little bit of the ethos of what the Joker is, where it's
And
like, I don't even care. But they
it
did
was also in the
reduce
time of
what Joker
Parasite.
was.
It was also in
Yes.
the time of Parasite. So that
Yes.
movie matched the
Yes.
mood
The
of the
mood of
country at that
Parasite.
time.
Yes. So I think it was a perfect storm in a sense.
Did you guys say Parasite or Pandemic?
Yeah.
Parasite.
Parasite.
And the pandemic too.
The
and the pandemic
South
too.
Korean film Parasite.
Oh, the film.
Yeah. The where it's like the class thing.
Yeah.
Class
But it also,
where
I
rich
think
versus
Marwa, you're
poor.
also right. It also matches that bleak feeling of when the pandemic was going on, because this
Yeah.
movie came out right before the
Yeah.
pandemic, right?
People were depressed.
So I think that just resonated with it resonated with what people were feeling at the time, and it took a
Probably.
little bit of the energy of what Heath Ledger's Joker did and just sort of built on
Added
that
to it.
that anarchist sort of sentiment that Joker had in that movie. I think they do a disservice by trying to make him seem like really sympathetic. I didn't like that because Joker is not sympathetic. He's not like a nice guy gone bad. He's a psycho. Like he kills
like,
people unwittingly.
More like Heath Ledger.
More like Heath Ledger. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Less than Joaquin. But I still like the movie because I thought it was just like a different take, and it was like Joaquin Phoenix rendition of what the Joker is. Now, Folia Doe,
Jack Nicholson's Joker is also very good. Just so
yes, Jack Nicholson. All the Jokers have been good except
one quick question. I know
Leto.
You're about to. No, you're about to.
We don't talk about Leto.
No, I wanted to talk about Barry, this new guy. I know you guys also know the one that's supposed to come with the Batman. Do you guys? What do you guys think? I mean, have you guys seen Saltburn? That guy killed
I haven't seen Saltburn.
I've heard unsettling stories about Saltburn. I've heard unsettling things about.
Stop it! Go and watch it. No, I'm gonna shut up about Barry because the fact if you guys haven't seen that movie,
he's a good actor.
Then
I know he's a beast actor.
Yeah, no, that guy. I know is something else.
He's a beast actor, but
yeah,
I don't. Well, we didn't see too much of his Joker.
We don't know.
We didn't see too much of his Joker, so we don't know what his Joker will look like.
We don't know.
And I think Joker can take on a lot of different styles. Every style except Jared Leto. Don't do that again.
Jared Leto, no.
Don't do Jared Leto's.
That one didn't work out. It didn't work out.
But Joker can take on a lot of different styles, a lot of different ways. Like I remember even in the old comics, there was this Joker, or not old comics, old cartoons. There was a Joker that was like almost Jamaican. Nigga had dreads and he was buff.
Yeah.
And he was buff and he could fight. So I was like, oh, this is a different Joker. But yeah, I think
it's the same message.
It's still the same kind of thing. Still the same thing he does. He's still crazy. He's still gas people.
Yeah. But that guy plays crazy very easy. He plays it almost effortlessly. Demilade, we are in your way. Sorry, I just want to put that out there.
No, it's fine. I would say that I may not have seen Barry Keoghan in that, but I've seen him in many other movies, including
he's a good actor.
of Inisherin. I've seen him in Dunkirk.
Green Knight.
So I know he's a good actor. But I probably should go and watch Saltburn.
Go and watch it, please.
All right. So we've talked about the past. We've talked about TV. I think the final discussion topic that I wanted to focus on is the future. As this what do you call it? The new show just finished, the one with the witches. What's it called?
Agatha
all along.
It's a good mid. Another mid. Good mid.
Yeah, it's another mid show.
Good mid for
Marvel. And we've been inundated with mid shows from Marvel.
Yeah.
Quite frankly. And the only movies from Marvel that do really well are the ones that are not made by Marvel, like the Spider-Man, the Deadpool.
You
It
just
seems
want
like
to
Mm,
make, or you keep talking, is that so you want to talk about Sony now, eh? My Spider-Man
Sunny.
movies. Yes,
No, no,
Sony.
no, no, no. Let's not do that. I'm
well,
not doing that. No, no, no. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Okay,
I mean,
just
even
checking.
the Thor movie that came out wasn't so great.
the
So
third Thor,
there's been
Oh no,
one of the
it
strengths.
was bad.
yeah, it was
Yeah,
very bad. That
So
third
that
it's
Thor
was
was
like the
bad.
really bad.
strength that existed um in the time of
Infinity.
the Infinity Stones, the
Mm,
Infinity
Hmm.
Saga, seems to be what is currently the weakness of Marvel right now. The fact that
yeah,
everything has to relate back to
lead
the
back to
story.
that.
They've tried to
Yeah,
create a separation by creating the multiverse so they can tell a bigger story, but that has resulted in not so great
weaker,
films,
weaker.
including the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. So
And I
we now
was,
have a
yeah,
scenario where what was the strength of Marvel is now proving to be its weakness. Even the TV shows have to relate back to the Marvel movies. And DC is starting a clean slate, right? The first in that series was Peacemaker in the new DCU, according to the new James Gunn, who is the director. That is canon in DCU, and the TV show that is coming out in on December 6th,
Something Commandos,
uh, 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 cr- creature commandos or something.
Creature
Creature
Commandos
Commandos. Yeah,
is gonna continue that stuff before we get to Superman. So next year we have
Mm,
Superman and Peacemaker coming out. We also and Penguin is not part of the DCU, but it's part of DC.
mm,
Now I'm trying to gauge your views on this
mm,
particular series because we alluded to it at the very beginning. Is DC finally beginning to slowly come back? And what do you think is the outlook given the
mm.
quagmire that Marvel is in right now?
Let me shoot first. Um, I think I think yeah, DC does have a chance to overtake here. Um, One thing I don't want them to do, because DC has a bunch of suicide squads where they're not suicide squads, but it's a ragtag group of 6, 7 people who are trying to save the Doom Patrol. It's the same shit. It's all the same thing. This one seems like is in that same vein, and I think it's cool that they're doing Creature Commandos. I don't want them to rest on this sort of formula of the ragtag group of stuff, and it'll just become like another Marvel. Um, I do think with Penguin, even though it's not part of the DCU, I think it's a good start for really fleshing out the difference between DC and Marvel, because the DC world tends to be a lot darker, a lot more grim, and a lot more bleak than the Marvel world, which is like very bright, very colorful. People cracking jokes and cracking wise every
funny.
10 seconds. Yeah, very funny. I would like to see them have better, stronger hero movies. I think they need to do that, and I still believe that they need a good Superman movie. Like it cannot work without Superman and Batman, right? It cannot work without those two being good. Nothing in DC can work without those two being good,
Yep.
and they have to have strong movies and strong showings for that. Me, this is just my rant. Real quick. DC or Superman movie needs to be Brainiac, or it needs to be like Metallo, or that other dude that absorbs people's powers. It needs to be those three people for a Superman movie to be good. It can't be Zod. It can't be Doomsday. They need to bring someone that will actually challenge Superman's character, or challenge his. I mean, challenging his powers is not like, what's the point? Superman. There's no reason to like challenge his powers by making Doomsday, who is just a Superman clone, essentially. Brainiac is cool because he has emotional ties to the character, right? That's the person that destroys Krypton. Now he's on Earth, you know. And there are millions of ways. There's many like animated films where they've like done Brainiacs, incursion on Earth, and it's strong. Sometimes will come as like a helpful AI that's helping the world improve. Then they realize, oh, he's really just absorbing all the knowledge and he's going to destroy the planet. And Superman has to be the one to stop it, right? Or he's taking over people's brains and mind controlling the whole planet. There's many ways they can do it, you know. For Batman, I mean, they've already done the Joker, they've done Bane. Batman has so many villains in his world that they can tap into. Mr. Freeze, Poison Ivy. There's a lot of things they can tap into. And I think if they can make Batman, Superman really good, everything else underneath will start to flourish. And then the Justice League can be strong. They've never touched Martian Manhunter. They haven't touched the Green Lantern since Ryan Reynolds. They haven't touched, well, that Flash movie was not good. I'm not even going to go into that. But there's a lot of other stories they can tell, a lot of different heroes. Hawkman. You can go on and on. So, yeah, I think right now DC has the edge and they have the opportunity to take over this comic book world, essentially, if they hit these out of the park. Marvel needs to go back to home base. They need to figure out exactly what their next things is going to be. I mean, they're already kind of, showing us what is coming up next, but it's still part of that old Marvel Infinity War phase, which I don't think is a good idea. I think they need to, first of all, I mean, hindsight 2020, they should have taken a break. They needed to just jump into X-Men or Fantastic Four instantly, or another group completely on a different non-Thanos part of the world or non-Thanos stories, But right now it just seems like they're scrambling a little bit. So
Okay.
they need to go. They need to
Milo,
go back
you
and
have anything
replan.
you wanted to say?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm just going to jump on most of what Farah said. I mean, I think the first, are we allowed to curse? The first
Yeah,
thing
been cursing.
is
I mean, you already
don't
cursed, man.
I've been cursing.
don't fuck up Batman and don't fuck up Superman. It's like DC 101. Don't screw it up. I mean, they have an opportunity here. Marvel has been throwing out some stinkers. I don't think, like you said, they're in a conundrum where you have all these characters now, all these universes, and you have to still continue to tie them together.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing, I think there was one franchise that did that really well. I have to go back to, and you guys can disagree with me or agree with me. The X-Men movies. Days of Future Past.
Future Past,
reset everything.
The whole thing. Yep.
Now, it's been done. That's their universe. X-Men is Marvel. But if there was a way that they could have done that without opening all these, I honestly, after the Deadpool movie, it's like, okay, so we can just bring back whoever we want from the dead.
Yeah.
Call it a different multiverse.
A different universe.
It's lazy. It's lazy. And they kind of worked themselves into that issue. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But X-Men could have been the same. But guess what they did? They were like, you know what?
Reset.
Look, remember Sabretooth?
Mm-hmm.
Sabretooth, we had two different Sabretooths. What's going on here? You know what I mean? But even with all the confusion, you just reset everything. Let's start over. Let's start from scratch.
I think that was a good way to use the multiverse. That was what they did in that movie. Because I mean, they had the X-Men First Class, right? And X-Men First Class was a hit, and they also had that old X-Men. So they were like, these two can't really coexist. How do we tie them up?
Yes.
Tied them up perfectly with the multiverse, then just wiped everything out and said, we're starting over.
You know what I mean? And that was brilliant from them. That was brilliant. I wish there was a way that they could have extended that to the entire Marvel universe, right? Yeah. We thought, honestly, if I'm being honest with you, I thought Flash was going to do that for DC. That was a missed opportunity right there. You know,
Yeah,
we can
Flash was
say all the good things you can about DC. They dropped the ball with Flash.
yeah,
Man.
that Flash movie was not.
Flash would have reset and I think that's kind of what they were going for.
They were trying to do it.
But
Yeah.
they could not execute. They had all these different Superman. Hey, this one Superman. This.
Yeah.
You remember at the end they were bringing up, and then I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
But there were 2 times, that I felt like, comic books kind of like and they did it perfectly. X-Men is a story of how to do it.
Mhm.
Days of Future Past. And DC is in Flash is like don't do it.
How
like
not
that.
to do it.
That's
Yeah, how
the
not
worst
to do
way.
it.
So I'm talking about all these other things, but again, it would have been nice to to have DC reset the universe in that way. It didn't work out. Yeah. But what they need to do next, beyond, okay, now we couldn't tie things off, great, whatever. Now we have to start this whole universe. Introduce us to your characters, man.
Yeah.
Take all the good things from what Marvel did and try and apply it to you. Introduce us to your characters. Let's know who they are. Let's feel for them. Even the villains. They're doing that with Penguin. We're like, okay, we see where this guy is coming from. Unfortunately, that's like you said, it's DC, not DCU.
Yeah.
I wish it was, because like that would have been a nice, so they need to sort out that whole DCU crap, right? So let us know your characters. And then, again, another thing is learning from the same mistakes that your competition made. Like you're talking about, they have all these universes now. I don't rate anything that comes out of that Marvel now, because so this guy died. Okay, well, let's go to another universe and go and pick this one and come back. What was like everybody can die today, and then they're making it worse. They went and made this guy that all of us were crying when he died. Now you're bringing him back as Doom.
Yeah,
what are you doing? You know what I mean? That's the whole idea. It's like we can just go to a multiverse,
grab a variant,
and bring it. Just bring it.
The variants
all
will
of
be
a
the new
sudden
thing.
The stakes are not so
it
high.
cheapens, cheapens the stakes. Cheapens the stakes.
So for me, as much as I love Marvel, they are losing their way with this whole multiverse shit. They need to reset.
I do want to point out. I do want to point out before you move away from the multiverse, though. DC does have its own multiverse. They do have movies with the multiverse, but DC never leans. They never lean on the multiverse as their main mode of storytelling. They never push the multiverse as the main story. Oh, you're going to dip in here, dip in this world. They just stick to whatever world they're in. There's a million, like Superman Red Sun. It's a different multiverse of DC where he's born in Russia, right? And he becomes the leader of Russia, the de facto. So like
that was a nice animated movie.
It was great. It was great. They do nice stuff with their multiverse without trying to just like blend all the multi. Oh, you're gonna go into this multiverse. It
can exist on its own.
It can exist in its own verse. And that idea is cool. Not like the one where we'll be jumping. You're jumping to this verse, jumping to this verse.
It's cool though. It's cool though. At first, when you did it,
it's cool when you do it. Yeah, it's cool when you do it one time. Yeah, Spider-Man or the Infinity, where they go into a different series and grab the stones from there.
It works, but
you can't rely on it. Yeah, you can't rely on it. There's one thing I want to say, and this is just like a thing that I came up with just inadvertently watching one of these DC movies, that something I noticed that Marvel does a lot, and this is like another nitpicky thing for me. Just point it out now. I call it, why is Superman running? That is what I call it, because in the moment I watched that movie, Superman was fighting someone, and he ran at regular human speed to go punch the guy in the face. And I was just like,
guys, stop. I know. I mean, there was this meme. There was this meme I saw, and I'll share it on the group. It was Superman. Like, this is old school, though. It was Superman holding a tree. That there was a river. There's this girl drowning, almost drowning. Superman was holding the tree. And then he was holding Batman. And then Batman was holding Wonder Woman. And then they were saving this little girl that was in the river. And so it goes to your point. Like, why? What are you
Why are you
guys
doing all that?
doing?
Why are you just flying there to pick her up? Like, one thing I remember, because in the multiverse of madness, and this is another case of that. Like in the multiverse of madness, when Wanda is, if you haven't seen this movie, I mean, spoiler alert, but whatever.
Yeah.
She's now in the other multiverse. She's chasing the girl. She's killed a few of the members, the Fantastic Four guy, the different Mr. Marvel, and she's like going through the sewer line, and she's just like, she's like limping, and she's doing all this, and she's like, I was like, wait, didn't you just like teleport out of water? Didn't you just like find a little reflection of water and teleport yourself out of that? Why are you limping? Why are you running? Just magic some things. Just when things aren't consistent in that way.
All right.
Hold on. Let me finish. When
This
things
feels
aren't
like
consistent,
nitpick universe.
okay, hold on. When things aren't consistent in your story,
Okay.
it takes away from the stakes and the world. It takes away from everything.
All
Does it
right.
not?
No movie is perfect. We will always find nitpicks.
There are perfect movies. Don't say
There are
that.
no perfect
There
films.
are perfect movies. Don't say
So
that.
let's talk about the future of the DC films. Like we just talked about, the Creature Commandos are coming out. It's coming out December 6th. And that links
My
directly
birthday.
to.
My birthday.
Oh wow!
Sorry, go on.
Happy
Happy
birthday to you,
Yeah,
then.
in
no,
advance.
no.
Way
Nice.
to Still the Scene, which is your usual thing.
Hey,
Cool.
ouch, my heart. Ow.
I'm joking. A couple of new movies coming out. For us, you were talking about the Green Lanterns. Not We're not talking about the Green Lanterns. The Lanterns
Mm-hmm.
are coming
Core.
out, and it stars what do you call it? What's the name of the Black Lantern?
Aaron Pierre.
Hal Jordan and John Stewart.
Hal Jordan is the
Yeah,
white one.
so John Stewart is the black Lantern,
Yeah.
and Hal
That
Jordan.
guy actually looks like him. That guy,
Yep.
the black guy that they picked, actually looks like
Yep.
the cartoon.
So
I think it was a good casting.
we're also gonna get like Booster Gold, who is gonna be comic relief,
Yeah,
Oh,
Booster.
interesting.
and we're gonna have a
Scab
show called
artist.
Paradise Lost, which is gonna be based on the politics of Atlantis or Themyscira. Let me just say that. So
The
we are
Amazonian.
slowly building
Okay.
up on the new world at James Gunn, and we should also point out that this has been run by James Gunn. We have a singular focus now, similar to what Marvel is doing, uh, giving somebody who loves the comic books already. And if you have seen what James Gunn did with the Guardians of the Galaxy, we at least know that he's a man who loves his comics. And if you see what he did with the Suicide Squad, he knows all the obscure characters and he can give them a lot of heart. So when we're talking about the future of DC, I think that the future of DC is going to be interesting, but I think that what is going to be more interesting is if there's going to be a comic book fatigue, um, and if the DC characters, even if they're good, still fails because nobody cares about it. So
I think the fatigue is already there. To be fair,
Yeah.
I think the fatigue is already there, and I think that something like the Penguin did a good job of breaking that comic book sort of immersion. Like you're
Mold.
not thinking, "Oh, this is a comic book movie." You're just watching the movie about characters.
Yeah.
So
I think what happened with the boys has kind of allows allowed DC to say, the James Gunn came out this week and said that a lot of their DC movies are going to be R rated.
Okay.
It's going to break away from the mold of Marvel, which have always been family oriented, right? Except from the
Yeah.
Deadpool film, almost all of them have been PG-13 or less. So this gives them an ability to explore a market that hasn't existed. Having said that, I feel like we've discussed quite a lot
We've
about
done.
DC and Marvel today. Did you feel like you guys have gotten your minds your mind, all the points you want to make.
Don't get Fawaz started on another nitpick something, please. Let's move
Nah,
on.
no more nitpicks. I'm going
Nitpick
to
till the
stop
day I
immediately.
die.
I'm
I'm a nitpick till the day I die.
You just
Yeah,
thinking. You're thinking too hard, man. Like sometimes you
Yeah.
just go to a movie and just
Nah.
watch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you're thinking too much. It's
Look,
like,
I can't. If something breaks my immersion,
you're thinking too much.
if it breaks my immersion, then I'm sorry. It's gonna stick in my brain. Because why is that man running? Why is he running slower than me?
Fair enough.
Cool.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Superman should never run slower than me.
I will leave it
guys.
at that. I'll just say that Superman is thinking. All right. Well, that's the end of the show. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. We'll see you next week. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
We'll see you in 2 weeks where we finally get to discuss a full-length episode on anime.